Hey, Chef Jason Hill here, and right now at my house it is very cold outside tonight. So on cold nights, one of my favorite things to make are soups. And tonight I am doing a French onion soup, also known as a onion gratinee. I read actually in France that they use water as their base and then the onions. And it's just a couple ingredients. I spruce it up a little bit with some fresh herbs, so let me show you how I do it. For tonight's soup, I am using 8 cups of organic beef broth. I didn't make it from scratch tonight, but that's okay. It's just as good. I was at the farmer's market yesterday, and I got these great sweet Spanish onions. And I never really heard of these. I always heard of Vidalia and Maui. And I like to use the sweet onion for my onion soup because a little bit more mild or not as pungent. Got a little bit of fresh rosemary, some thyme sprigs. I'm gonna use some fresh cracked pepper. I love my little pepper mill. Salt, a couple of bay leaves, and some croutons for the top, along with, I'm gonna do a little parmesan and a little baby Swiss. And I'm gonna throw in about a teaspoon of my garlic shallot puree. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna slice these onions up really thin. I have seen recipes, and I've ate soup at restaurants where they cut them into little rings, thin rings, and to me, they fall off your spoon. I don't know, I don't like eating them that way, so let me show you how I cut these. The way I like to do it is I cut off both ends of the onion. And I go right down the middle. And peel off the skin. And then from this point, I just get real thin slices as possible. That's about the thinness I like to go with, and we'll just finish up the rest of the onions this way. Okay, this looks like a lot of onions, but it's onion soup. Let's get this into the pot. All right, I've got my stock pot preheating on medium-low, and I'm gonna add 4 ounces of clarified butter, or you can use 1 4-ounce stick of butter. I'm gonna start to add my onions. And the reason we do a medium-low heat is we don't want the onions to burn. We just want them to cook at a low heat for about 30 minutes so they get nice and soft and they release all of their flavor, sugar, and these are going to cook down by half. And after I get them all in there, I stir them up. Get the butter all around. I'm gonna cover it, and I'll probably check it in about another 10 minutes and give it another stir. All right, while the onions are cooking down, I'm gonna go ahead and rough chop up the thyme and rosemary together. After about 20 minutes, onions have cooked down a little more. Give it another stir. Rosemary, thyme, and about a teaspoon of the garlic shallot puree or a clove of garlic, or you can leave it out. But I use my garlic shallot puree in almost everything. Give it a good stir. Get those herbs all spread around. I like to deglaze my soup with a little bit of sherry wine. Some people use brandy. Or you don't even have to do this step, but I like to. About half a cup. Scraping the bottom of the pot, getting all that flavor off of the bottom there. Oh yeah. All right, our sherry wine has pretty much reduced and cooked off. It's time to add the 8 cups of beef broth, or stock. Drop in a bay leaf or 2. You're going to want to bring this to a simmer. Slow boil. Okay, you can see little bubbles here. They're starting to form. Nice little simmer. I'm going to put the lid on. And that goes for maybe another 10, 20 minutes. This is when I like to grate up the cheese. I'm going to do about 75-25 ratio. More Swiss than the Parmesan. I'm gonna mix it all up. Final step before we put it in the broiler is to season it. And I've got my pepper grinder going here. Fresh cracked pepper is a must. And probably a good teaspoon of pepper. And then a couple of pinches of salt. I use salted butter at the beginning, so it already had a little bit of salt in there. If you use unsalted butter, that's fine. You just might have to put a little more salt. I have a 4-ounce ladle. I'm going to put about 2 of these, or 1.5, into a little crock. And almost to the top. Next, croutons are going to go for a swim. Or a hot tub. Ouch! Just kidding, they can't feel anything. Okay, squeeze one more in there. There's always room for one more. And sprinkle with the grated cheese. Now you can use your oven broiler. I have a little mini broiler built into my toaster oven here. And we're gonna brown the top of that cheese. It's already preheated. It won't take too long. There it is. Onion soup. Well, there you have it, my version of French onion soup. Hope you give this recipe a try, and I hope you enjoy it. And as always, thanks for tubing in. It's one of my favorite soups. Oh, that's loud. These onions are making me cry. What do you mean you don't use wine?